An ultra-conservative group just got a massive $1.6 billion to spend on the midterms, and woke leftists like these illiterates at MSNBC are having a collective meltdown. We're going to see the details surrounding this unprecedented gift and who it's for. We're going to see how triggered leftists are freaking out over it all. And make sure to stick with me to the very end of this video when I'll reveal what are the real implications for this unprecedented donation for the 2022 midterms and beyond. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. It's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we begin, gang, today is the day. My movie, The Return of the American Patriot, The Rise of Pennsylvania, is now available for pre-sale at a discounted price by clicking on the link below. And here's the best part. When you purchase this movie, you have the opportunity to join me and thousands of other patriots in my brand new community on Locals, where together we're standing up against woke culture in a censor-free environment. There we'll be discussing the movement surrounding this movie, and there's a special bonus features, special bonus content from myself, my team, and even Senator Doug Mastriano and other guests. The movie will be released on September 15th, but pre-purchase it now to get exclusive discounts, bonus content, and best of all, stand up against the woke mob as a courageous patriot. Showing the world patriotism cannot be stopped. Make sure to click on that link below or go to thereturnoftheamericanpatriot.com. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. There is a bombshell story that just broke. It's being reported by the New York Times, and it has leftist liberals absolutely freaking out. A conservative organization known as the Marble Freedom Trust just received an absolutely massive donation of $1.6 billion. It's an absolutely unprecedented gift for a political organization. Now, this group, the Marble Freedom Trust, is headed by the one and only Leonard A. Leo. Leo is the longtime vice president of the Federalist Society, which is the premier conservative judicial society in the nation that was instrumental in working with President Trump to seat the new conservative Supreme Court majority. Leo, perhaps more than any other person, other than Trump and the justices themselves, was responsible for overturning Roe v. Wade. I mean, this guy is the real deal, and his new group, the Marble Freedom Trust, is dedicated to impacting Congress in a manner comparable to the way they transformed the Supreme Court. So this is absolutely huge. This bona fide conservative group has just been empowered beyond anyone's wildest imaginations with $1.6 billion to spend on the midterms. The donor is a Chicago-based electronics manufacturing mogul by the name of Barry Seid, and the New York Times is reporting that it is the single largest contribution ever made to a politically focused nonprofit. The Times is also noting that this billion-dollar gift has clearly cemented Leonard Leo's status as kingmaker in conservative big money politics and clearly gives conservatives a massive monetary advantage in the upcoming midterm races throughout the nation. CNN is reporting that the donation is, quote, stupefying, and by far the single largest known contribution given to a political group. So this is astonishing stuff, and it's absolutely freaking out the far left. And no one is freaked out more than MSNBC's ultra-left, borderline illiterate Chris Hayes. Here's a bit of what Hayes had to say to his dwindling audience over this.
He's ultimately a big part of why we are now seeing enormous, unprecedented sums of nearly untraceable money sloshing through our politics. But that's not his only aim. He wants the court to roll back all sorts of key rights. He is largely responsible, for instance, for the destruction of the Voting Rights Act in the 2013 Shelby County versus Holder ruling. And if there's one single man, I really mean this, sort of aside, I would say, from Donald Trump, one single man most responsible for Roe v. Wade being overturned, it's him. It is Leonard Leo. It was his 6 justices whose vetting and nominations and confirmations he all shepherded, who all voted to gut reproductive rights. When you see the news about a 10-year-old forced to flee her state to terminate a pregnancy from a rapist, think about Leonard Leo as the man who brought that state of affairs about. He is the guy pulling the strings in the background, and yet no one really even knows his name.
Yeah, this guy, Hayes, he's such a blithering hack. The whole 10-year-old rape victim nonsense is so ridiculously and provably fallacious. It's one of the single most poisonous and deleterious deceptions ever to make its way into our political discourse, and Hayes spreads it around like pollen during spring. I mean, he is objectively a very vile person, and as is the whole staff of MSNBC. But as you can see, they are freaking out. They realize that if conservatives have been able to transform our legal system as radically as they have before a gift of $1.6 billion, just imagine what they can do with such a gift. And again, keep in mind, moral repugnants like Hayes have absolutely no problem with the dark money of George Soros or Zuckerbucks or Bill Gates. They love ultra-left billionaires. So needless to say, this selective outrage is not going to convince anyone. But in terms of left-wing outrage, Hayes really is just the tip of the iceberg. The woke leftists in the Twitterverse were clearly triggered upon hearing of the news of this billion-dollar gift. Brendan Fisher of the organization called It's Documented tweeted out, quote, Leonard Leo, the #3 most powerful person in the world, according to Clarence Thomas, now controls an astonishing $1.6 billion that he can use to reshape our political system. With this fortune, Leo can maintain and even grow his singular influence in near perpetuity. Far-left activist Lynn Teague tweeted out, quote, Leonard Leo founded the Federalist Society and has already bought the SCOTUS majority. He's made no secret of his fondness for theocracy and oligarchy, so this is not good news. Yeah, that's right. Right, we're in such good hands with the defenders of democracy like Lynn Teague, who support weaponizing the FBI against her political enemies. That's the textbook definition of democracy right there. An ultra-democrat by the name of Jane Dutra tweeted out, Leonard Leo is a dangerous man and one of the founders of the Heritage Foundation. A good reason for there not to be any gazillionaires in our society. Well, I wonder what Jane, I wonder if you've been so vocal in your opposition when it comes to Soros or Zuckerbucks or Gates. I have my doubts on that one. We could go on and on. Obviously, this is not good news for leftist liberals going into the midterms. This is a huge boost for the GOP, which even the New York Times is admitting. And by the way, just as a reminder, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, you're invited to join me and hundreds of like-minded patriots in my exclusive Insiders Club live stream, where I answer your questions and we dive deep into topics just like this one for 90 minutes every single week. Click on that link in the description below to sign up for less than the price of a cup of coffee per day, and I can't wait to see you live on Monday nights. Yeah, so, I mean, even the New York Times recognizes as much. They're noting that Leonard Leo's organization can now start funneling hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into all kinds of pro-Republican, pro-conservative campaigns. And this couldn't have come at a better time. And that is because we have to realize that these new ultra-MAGA candidates that are dominating the GOP primaries are not big money getters. And that's because the big money tends to come through the establishment. And that means it comes through the mediation of figures like Mitch McConnell and the Bushes and the Cheneys and the Mitt Romneys and the like. It comes from the boards and the foundations that don't even really think about who they're giving the money to. Instead, they're concerned more about how the money is given. It's got to be given through the ranks of the old establishment traditional Republican protocols. And so the new ultra-MAGA candidates are having to raise their money outside of those protocols, almost entirely by themselves. So they don't have the pearl necklace Rockefeller Country Club donors. Their funds have been shut off by virtue of the establishment mediators like Karl Rove and the Bushes and the Cheneys and the like. So the amazing news here is that this $1.6 billion has gone to an organization, the head of which, Leonard Leo, has worked very closely with Donald Trump himself. This isn't a Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney Republican, this guy Leonard Leo. He is the real deal. He's a Trumpian. He locked arms with Trump very early on in 2016. He helped him get elected by providing him with a list of names of the conservatives that Trump promised he would consider nominating for the Supreme Court, right? You remember that when he was reading off the names, and that helped galvanize the conservative base for Trump, many of whom were still very weary of supporting him in 2016 because they just weren't trusting Trump's conservative bona fides. Obviously, that concern is gone now. Trump faithfully nominated 3 names from Leonard Leo's list and has gone down in history as the single most pro-life, pro-constitutional president in our lifetimes. And Leonard Leo was a key, if not the key architect behind that success. And now he's $1 billion richer and ready to transform Congress in a manner comparable to the ways he helped reshape our brand new conservative Supreme Court. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And you'll definitely want to check out my latest video on Fauci resigning out of fear of upcoming GOP investigations. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.